Hi, I'm Athena Paquette, and welcome to our first ever Investors Corner. If you're new to investing, you'll learn the steps that real-life investors use to achieve financial freedom. And if you're a seasoned investor, then you'll discover something you didn't know. I know after 23 years as an investor, I'm always learning something new. I decided to do this show because I meet so many would-be investors who are fearful of investing and don't know the steps to get started, and so they stay stuck. I'm here with Renee Riker, and she is an investor I've known for quite a few years now, and I invited her here to talk about her investing style, the steps she took, and share some of her wisdom with you. Hi, Renee.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So I wanted to start by asking you, when you first got an inkling that you wanted to invest in real estate, when did that light bulb go off?
Oh, I would say probably around 1996 or so. That's the first time I actually started active investing. The primary driver was my husband works in aerospace, and I knew it was not a secure situation with the amount of layoffs happening. So I wanted to have a plan B and supplement my income.
And so what was the first thing, what was your first step? Was it a class? Was it a book? What
No,
did you
the
start?
very first step actually was when I wanted to relocate so my girls could go to a different high school. So we were living in a home that I didn't want to sell because it was upside down. So I I started renting that out. That was my very first experience. But then I went on after that in 2004 and bought a single family home in Chandler, Arizona. And I invested about $90,000 in that property and didn't really have a clue what I was doing. I had taken a couple of classes and read a few books. The good thing was that appreciation, it gained about $100,000 within 2.5 years, but the cash flow wasn't really there throughout that time. So I would never recommend going for appreciation. I would definitely go for cash flow, but in the end, that one worked out.
And so you sold that one.
Yes.
And you reinvested the money, or?
Yes, we bought 3 single-family homes in Oklahoma at that time with that money. Mm-hmm. And I still have those, and those do produce cash flow.
So after that that appreciating property, you decided, did you already want cash flow at that point?
Yes, that's
Okay.
what I was going for, that passive income or mailbox money, as you call it.
Right. Okay, good. And so how do you like, why did you choose Oklahoma?
Well, I was going for the Kiyosaki 1% principle, where I wanted 1% of the rents to be 1% of the purchase price. And I couldn't find that in California at the time. So I just literally started interviewing property managers across the country saying, hey, what's your typical 3-bedroom go for? And, what do you recommend? What neighborhoods? And so I do a lot of research through property managers to figure out where I want to purchase. But anyway, that's how I ended up in that area.
Oh, that's interesting. So interviewing the people who are actually managing property.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I do. Yes.
That's awesome.
I don't go straight for the realtors typically.
And so what is Kiyosaki principle?
Well, so his is passive income. And so when I said the 1% principle, meaning, what your price point should be compared to what the rents are. So that's how I started. And then I read a lot of his books and did some of his coaching programs and so forth.
Robert Kiyosaki, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Okay, and so how much time does it take you to think about your investing? How much time would you say you invest in the learning process of investing?
Well, early on, because I do 2 different forms of investing. So I do single family rental homes, and I'm also a dirt flipper. So I flip dirt like some people flip homes. So it's completely different. So on the home side, once I figured out where I wanted to buy, then it's really a matter of being able to manage the property manager, so to speak. So the research that I did up front was, what are the rents, what types of properties, what location. Once the homes are purchased, then it's just a matter of managing the manager and making sure you have good escape clauses to get out of your management agreement if you need to, which I have several times. But for the land, it's a completely different process. So I had to learn. I spent a lot of time up front learning because it was something new to me. I needed to do the due diligence on the properties that I was going to purchase, so there was a lot of learning up front.
Okay, so I'd love to hear more about that in a second. So where else do you own single families? And you mentioned Oklahoma, and where else?
Also in Texas, 3 in Texas, and we sold the one in Chandler, Arizona. We did have another one in California that I sold recently, and that's it.
Okay.
For the homes.
So do you have a plan to sell all of them or keep them? I've heard some people are buy and hold, and some people are just trying to get better and better cash flow, right?
Well, I'd actually want to always probably hold some because I want that passive income. Where those are, I don't know. They may shuffle around, but I'm hoping to always hold some for passive income. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you have a full-time job?
Yes.
You do this part-time?
Yes, I have a full-time job. I've had almost 25 years for an automotive company. And so, yes, I do all of this part-time. So
Wow.
You have to be kind of driven to do this part-time, but I do it because it's really my passion.
And what other personality characteristics or talents do you have that you think make you successful in real estate or got you to be successful?
I would say being very tenacious and not being afraid to ask questions when you don't understand something. I really don't have a background, or from family anyway, of anybody investing in real estate. So I kind of had to do it on my own, just seek things out by reading or asking different people in the areas that are fellow real estate investors. 10 different conferences. I've taken lots and lots and lots of training classes, some good, some not so good. Spent lots and lots of money doing that, thousands of dollars. But
Wow.
yeah,
So being tenacious.
yes. So just being tenacious and not really being afraid to ask questions and dig in and apply. You can't just stop at reading. You have to actually do.
And I know you as a pretty detailed person, so do you think that helped you in your investing? Or do you think that was more of a stumbling block or some kind of block, like being too detailed?
Sometimes it can take you longer to make a decision if you're too detailed, and I am very detailed and I'm very process oriented. So I think that's also helped though, because when I have a process to follow, then I can just improve upon it along the way. So I typically build processes into everything that I do and have spreadsheets for analysis and so on and so forth.
So what would you say to someone who is very analytical? Oh, okay. Sorry. What would you say to someone who's very analytical, who wants to invest but gets stopped by that? How do you get beyond, when is enough information enough?
That's a really good question. I think all you really can do is try to manage risk as best as possible. And I think you get to the point where you've got to have a gut feel of, okay, I've researched as much as I can. It's time to take the next step. You can't be paralyzed, and you have to be willing to risk something, right? Because real estate is, there's some risk in there, so you have to figure out what you're comfortable with. The first piece of land I bought, I told my husband, okay, this is $1,800. We may never sell this thing. Are you okay with the risk? Yes. Okay. So we bought that. So you just have to be willing to make a move.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
My heart's pounding just hearing you tell that little story. Okay, well, if you'd like to call in and ask Renee questions yourself, you would call 347-308-8591. And so this is our Investors Corner, and we're here with Renee Riker, and we have so many questions to ask you, Renee. So I'm going to ask a short one since we're coming to our break. So do you have a team? Who's on your team to create these results?
Well, I have different business partners that I use. I have a good relationship with the realtor that I use in one area. I have a couple different title companies that I use. My daughter actually helps me research some of the properties, the good people that help me with websites and videos and so on and so forth. So it's definitely not a sole effort. So I definitely have a team to help me.
Wonderful. And how involved is your spouse?
You know, this isn't really his thing, so I pretty much I take the lead on the investments, but he's very, very supportive and will help, on the administrative back end if I need it. So it's pretty much me.
Yeah. You're the team, huh?
I'm the team, yeah.
Okay, so again, you're listening to Investors Corner with Athena Paquette, that's me, on Life Oasis Empowerment Radio Network.